Well, shares in locally listed medical supplies company EBOS have climbed around 10% over the last few weeks. It follows a strong half-year result with net profit up nearly 40%. It's a result that's led the company to be labelled as one of the standout performers of the just completed reporting season. Joining me now is its CEO, Mark Waller. Good morning, Mark.
Morning, Corin.
You have had a pretty strong half. What do you put that down to?
I think it's really just a part of the journey of a long process of actually building our business in New Zealand and Australia, and a lot of efficiency gains from automation.
Yeah, revenue was still, revenue was still somewhere around 700 million, was still fairly flat. So there was cost cutting involved?
Yeah. More efficiency gains and slight margin improvements, doing things right the first time, that sort of thing that actually helped.
How do you make those? Give us an idea of exactly what you do. There may be some people who are unfamiliar. How do you go about making those efficiency gains?
Well, let me just quickly explain EBOS first. We're probably the leading supplier of medical supplies and pharmaceuticals to the New Zealand healthcare system. We also have scientific divisions that actually provide equipment and reagents and so on to that industry, medical laboratories, etc. And a very rapidly growing business in Australia where we're still pretty small. So, you know, the Australian side is giving us more profit growth than New Zealand, and what we do in our warehousing distribution is invest pretty heavily in automation, clever IT, so it's full radio frequency type supply and distribution that's actually just driving very good savings.
You have had a number of acquisitions in the past. Are you looking at more in the future? How's your debt looking? Is that something you can accommodate?
Yeah, look, we think we've got a comfortable $100 million spending capability within our current balance sheet. We're pretty conservatively geared. Spent the last 18 months or so with the world economic climate as it's been, reducing working capital, paying down debt, ready for the next move. We've been an acquisitive company for really the last 20 years, and that won't stop. So we're looking at opportunities, particularly in Australia, but also in New Zealand.
It's a pretty interesting space, healthcare. Obviously, we've seen big reform in the US over the last 24 hours or so. But where do you see that for your company? Are you encouraged by reform in New Zealand, for example?
Yeah, Corin, look, it's a big question. I think New Zealand has a long way to go in terms of consolidating the number of health facilities we have for a small population of 4 million. In terms of EBOS, we're probably the only company, I think there are no multinationals, there's no one else in our space as big as us or doing what we do. So we're ideally placed to help the government with their reforms.
Where have you set your sights? Are you looking to go multinational though? Head to America, become a big player?
I think the first step is probably to be bigger in Australia. We're a relatively small company there, about 250 staff. And I think the immediate future is probably Australia and Asian-centric rather than the United States.
Mark Waller from EBOS, thank you very much for your time.